meantime, staying with the I-Team, across our state tonight, people accused of nonviolent crimes clog already crowded jails, waiting for an expert to decide whether they're too mentally ill to stand trial.
For some, the wait is more than a year. Fox 5 I-Team reporter Randy Travis investigates the reason why. Randy.
That's right, Courtney. The reason always seems to involve money, right? But it's actually more about people. How do you determine whether someone can assist in their own defense when you can't find enough people to ask the questions?
If the Haralson County Jail had a frequent flyer program, Winston Powell would already be a lifetime Diamond member. His most recent arrest came in February 2022, when Buchanan police charged Powell with vandalizing this church building. Because he was already out on bond at the time, he was denied bond for this crime. Powell's public defender asked for a mental evaluation, and then everything suddenly stopped.
This man has been in here for 441 days in this facility, and he should have done been somewhere else.
And he still hasn't been convicted of a crime?
No, sir, he has not.
By law, a defendant must be mentally able to assist in their defense. If that's in question, the first step is a mental evaluation. But right now, 450 pretrial inmates are on a waiting list because the average wait to see a state forensic psychologist is 10.5 months.
We asked to speak to Winston, and we were denied that request because his attorney didn't think that he would be capable of actually doing that. This is where he's been living pretty much since he came here to the Haralson County Jail, and they track how many times he has rejected or accepted a shower. This is the only time he leaves this isolation cell for maybe half an hour to an hour.
He can't get along with other inmates. He gets into fights. He spits on the officers. He resists the officers. A person should not have to sit in jail for this long.
Georgia jails are struggling with how to handle a rush of mentally ill inmates, sometimes leading to tragic results. LaShawn Thompson died in his isolation cell in Fulton County, covered with bed bugs. His family blames jailers for ignoring his failing health.
We do this for here to protect him.
After a 10-month wait, Winston Powell's attorney finally got the psych evaluation results to file a motion to have him declared mentally incompetent to stand trial. But Powell still lives in a barren 10 by 6.5 foot cell because it turns out his wait is only half over.
We're continuing to see an increase in the number of orders that we're getting every day.
The Fox 5 I-Team got a rare look inside Georgia Regional Hospital, one of 5 where judges can order a mentally ill inmate treated so they can be, quote, restored to competency and then prosecuted. The average wait for a bed, 200 days.
So why isn't this bed being used? Because they don't have enough staff. A problem the commissioner says is a true crisis.
It's very difficult to hire forensic and keep forensic psychologists.
On the day we visited, an entire wing was closed because there was no staff available. That's 22 empty beds that could be used rather than an isolation cell in a Georgia jail. Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities Commissioner Kevin Tanner successfully lobbied for improved salaries, but they still have a staffing shortage, missing 1/3 of the people needed for those jail competency evaluations.
Since 2006, we've had right at a 40% increase in the number of competency evaluation orders coming to our department. But we have less forensic psychologists today than we had then. It's the thing that it keeps me up at night. It's the first thing that I think about in the morning. The last thing I think about when I go to bed is how do we continue to find ways to improve this system.
A system that gets an average of 2 mental competency requests every day from jails across Georgia, where the mentally ill wait in places that do nothing to help their condition.
Any jail in the state of Georgia, and I think all of these sheriffs agree, it's like a dumping ground for the mentally ill. And it stretches our resources to take care of these people, and it takes so long to get these people out of here.
They have made some progress. Last year, state psychiatric hospitals averaged 140 open beds that could not be used because they had no staff. Now it's around 40 beds, but they still have 500 days to get there. They have to wait that long before they get there after they've asked for a psychiatric evaluation in the first place. It's just a very long time.
Yeah, well, good on the sheriff for advocating for Mr. Powell, because solitary confinement is potentially damaging for the sanest person. I'm sure it's even more so for people who are mentally ill. And you say these are nonviolent offenders, and this is a statewide problem,
Right, and that's, I talked to sheriffs all across the state, Russ, yeah. And that's what frustrates them so much is these are nonviolent crimes. Minor crimes like burglary, like breaking into the church there that Winston Powell did. And because, though, that they've had so many other crimes, they're frequent flyers, it's hard for them to make a bond, so they sit there because there's no other place to put them except jail.
Wow.
And that's what's frustrating for these sheriffs.
Good that you're shining a light on this issue.
We've got more stories planned, Courtney.
All right, look forward to that. Randy, thanks.
You bet.
Very important, Randy.